Welcome to the stage of history. I am your illustrious host, Kevin Uncanny Anytime. All right, y'all, got a good one for you today. Before we jump into it, this is the Mindset Matters channel. This is where we talk about different mindset topics. So please like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. And I'm going to tell you to jump into the Institute. We specialize in helping you to minimize stress and focusing on the good. Go to www.mindsetmattersmore.net and jump in. All right. So the topic I have for you today is the problem is self-control. That is one of the major sources of the problems in this world, is a lack of self-control. So I was looking at this post, right, of this dude that y'all have probably heard of, Andrew Tate, and he says some things that, you know, I kind of go back and forth. Sometimes he says some things that I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But then there are times where there's things that just don't make sense. So let me go over what Andrew Tate said, right? So Andrew Tate was having this interview, and it was about having female friends. Now, I completely disagree with what he was saying. I actually believe that you're supposed to have female friends. You're supposed to be able to have female friends. And now, whether this is a after you're married thing or a, you know, while you're single thing, I'm gonna leave that up to you. I don't think any of that matters. I just think that there are particular time frames in your life when you should be able to have a female friend and it not be a romantic pursuit, right? So listen, okay, he said, oh, you know, having a female friend doesn't, and I'm paraphrasing, okay? Having a female friend doesn't make sense. You know, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about, you know, doing your nails, having your nails done, or, you know, what she's going to do her hair with, or something of that nature, right? It was very, very, very like, what are you talking about? Is that, I don't think that's all women talk about, but obviously that's probably the only women you surrounded yourself with. And if you've only surrounded yourself with those particular type of women, then guess what? That's all you're going to hear. So my thing is that I don't believe that's all what women talk about. And I believe that they have a perspective that all men need. And now, if you can't control yourself to allow yourself to listen to a woman without looking at her as a sexual pursuit, then that is a self-control problem. So in my perspective, in the releasing of the sexual pursuit of a woman and actually trying to understand the perspective of the other side, the other species that we will never as men ever have, and women will never have the men's perspective ever either, to be able to calmly and non-pursuit talk to a woman and gain her insight and perspective is absolutely necessary. I have seen this. The reason why I've decided to do that is because I am a scientist trying to figure out how do we make things better on this planet and in this life. And you need to do things that are outside the box to be able to do that. And so I was like, hey, you know what? I'm done. You get to a point, some guys can agree, you get to a point where you just like, dude, I ain't pursuing women for nothing. Like, no, I'm done with it. It's just not in my things to do. Okay, to pursue a woman, to try and get her sexually. Now, am I saying that I'm totally disregarding that I may find a woman beautiful, that I might be sexually attracted to her? No. But am I saying that I'm able to sit there and have a conversation and be like, yo, we can just talk, we can be cool, and I don't have to, in the back of my mind, think that we have a chance of doing something in the future? Absolutely. To be able to get to that point, though, you have to make a commitment to yourself of, I want to truly understand this perspective. And so that was what it was. That's what got me to a different level. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm kind of done trying to pursue women in a sexual fashion for a particular time period. And I really just want to understand them. That's going to completely drastically change your life. First of all, because you're going to have to be able to be around women without trying to sexually pursue them. That takes a great deal of self-control, and it also creates an understanding that you will never, ever in your life get if you don't allow yourself to do that. It is absolutely critical, absolutely necessary to be able to do that, to be able to define yourself by a thought, like Dr. Joe Dispenza says, and say, okay, hey, I do find this woman attractive. I do find her beautiful. Would I, if I had the chance to maybe pursue her romantically, would I do so? Yes, but am I going to do so? No. Am I going to do this? No. I'm going to objectively sit here and listen to this person's perspective because I value that perspective. That's going to change everything because their perspective is incredibly important. But some guys can't see that. My objective is to literally try and figure out, how do we get better at living in this particular time frame? And that is one of the major keys. And one of the major keys is you have to be able to have self-control. That is one of the major things that's lacking. Self-control, particularly. Now, don't get me wrong. Women have a lack of self-control too, but men in particular need to have self-control to the highest degree possible, because that is what is lacking. That is why all of this stuff is going crazy. The trafficking, the exploitation, the Me Too movement, all of that stuff is lack of self-control. And that is one of the major things that a woman expects you to have as a man, is some self-control. Because if you don't, you're not really fit to be in a relationship. You're not fit to be a father. You're not fit to be a husband. You're not fit to be a boyfriend. You're not fit for none of that stuff if you do not have self-control. So you shouldn't even be looking for that if you know in yourself that you don't have self-control. There are many ways that you can develop this without trying to throw yourself into the fire and be like, oh, okay, well, let me try and talk to a woman and I still have those uncontrollable feelings. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to go to that extreme. There are many other ways that you can try and develop self-control. Again, if we want to go through Dr. Joe Dispenza's words and listen, if you can define yourself by a thought, right? And so this is something that we help introduce in the Institute, the Mindset Matters Institute, is we introduce stillness, concentrated thought. Those things will help you to gain self-control. If you can tell yourself to sit there and don't move, define yourself by your thinking, this will help you. This is why the Institute exists, is because there's a lack of self-control. I've just recently come to this awareness. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is another reason why we need this, is because there's a huge lack of self-control on majorly the man's part. And so we need to be able to control ourselves, define ourselves by our thoughts, and not letting our body control our thinking. And yes, that is a thing. Yes, your body can control your thinking. Absolutely. Because you're training it in the wrong direction. If you can continuously pursue gratification, instant gratification, pornography, video games, all of that stuff, eating, I don't care what it is. There's a whole bunch of different stuff that's instant gratification, and you gotta pay attention to what you're thinking. What are you thinking on a regular basis? That's going to be a whole nother topic. I don't want to go too far. I want to leave y'all with this, okay? Just understand. And this is something that I am working on constantly as well. Nobody is exempt. I have a lack of self-control. Not saying that I'm actively pursuing all these women, but as I have drastically let go of that pursuit to the lowest possible degree, I have seen that that is a major issue. Being able to have a conversation with a woman without truly having extra anything, you gain new knowledge, you gain a new perspective, you gain self-control. It's just absolutely necessary. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Dude, come shoot me some comments. And we can have a discussion on this if you have any questions based off of what I've just said. But it is absolutely necessary. Okay? Remember, mindset matters more than anything else. What your mind is set on will dictate your future. So if your mind is set on, I can't control myself around women, then guess what? You're right. Focus on the good, because if you focus on the good, that is what you will attract. Once again, jump into the Institute, www.mindsetmattersmore.net. Let's get it in. Set up an appointment. Let's talk. Let's see if it's a good fit. Love you guys very, very much. Anytime. Out.